Not much to say here, as the Texans are definitely one of the worst teams in the league, but they got something brewing in the backfield with Pierce, and they have a bunch of picks in the early rounds of the upcoming NFL draft. Better days are coming, Texas fans, just not now. Number 31, the Carolina Panthers. After putting up a great effort a week ago, the Panthers fell off a cliff this week, and as someone who started their defense in fantasy and got that -5 points, I'm very upset. Yeah, this team is done. At number 30 here, we have another walking dumpster fire, and that's the Indianapolis Colts. This team's a mess and there's no fixing it. They just fired their head coach Frank Reich, and they're replacing him with Jeff Saturday, who, while he was a great center, has never been a head coach, even at the college level. I don't know how this is going to go, and I think the Colts are in for a really rough end to the season here. Number 29, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were on a bye this week, but this is about where they are. They're rebuilding. They've got Kenny Pickett back there, and I think the best thing they can do right now is to give him snaps and just time to develop. Number 28, the Las Vegas Raiders. Another game, another lead, and another blown lead. The Raiders are up 17 points again. This is the third time this season that's happened, and all 3 times they've lost the game. Not much else to say there. Number 27, the Detroit Lions. Hey, they won this week. You know, I want to give them credit for capitalizing on the corpse of Aaron Rodgers. There hasn't been much to celebrate in Detroit this season, but you know what? You got one this week. Also, Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a monster. Number 26, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not a good team, but they're one of the better, really bad teams, if that makes some type of sense. I still think Trevor Lawrence can be a pretty good quarterback in this league, but I don't know if he's still going to be elite. Granted, I might be putting too much pressure on a guy who's really having his first rookie season now. I'm not counting that last year with Urban Meyer. That was a mess. Either way, the Jags need some help. Number 25, the Denver Broncos. I still don't believe this team will turn it around. I don't think this offense fits Russ. I don't believe Nathaniel Hackett can get him back to the form that we saw up in Seattle. And until they start stringing wins together, I'm not moving them up in my power rankings. Number 24, the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury's time is up. I imagine he'll probably head back to college, but the Cardinals need someone that can bring out more in Kyler Murray. This team is just not responding to him at all, and it's been a big disappointment this year, coming off their great season last year. Number 23, the Green Bay Packers. This is a bad team, and to be honest, I should probably put them a little farther back, but I'm going to give them some respect. Aaron Rodgers looks bad, like bad. And I don't know who we can blame for those 2 goal line picks he threw this week. Number 22, my favorite team, the Washington Commanders. They also love to break my heart, and as much as I love Tanner Heinicke, he loves to throw interceptions at the worst time. The Commanders have a great defense, but an extremely subpar offense. This is about where they are. They're a very average to middle-of-the-pack team, and that's not changing this season until they get an elite quarterback. Number 21, the Browns. Hey, you know, they're one step closer to getting their perv QB back. Number 20, New Orleans Saints. Yeah, Andy Dalton sucks. Number 19, the Chicago Bears. You know, they're finally letting Justin Fields do things he's good at, and what do you know? He looks good. Number 18, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm still giving the reigning Super Bowl champs some respect, or else they'd be a little bit farther back, but they're fading fast, and I don't know if they can recover this season. Number 17, the New England Patriots. They were off this week, but they're a middle-of-the-pack team. Number 16, the Atlanta Falcons. Same thing as the Patriots, off this week, but they're also in this random middle group of just okay teams. Number 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, Tom Brady still has some juice in him. To be honest, I thought Tom Brady's played fairly well this year. I just think a mix of the offensive line and his receivers not stepping up have really hampered the Bucs. I don't know if those other 2 things are going to get fixed, but at least for 1 week, Tom turned back the clock and we got to see 1 more game-winning drive. Number 14, the Chargers. This team just doesn't play to their talent level, in my opinion. I think they should be in the top 10 with all that they have, but they're not clicking the way they should. Number 13, the Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, the other Super Bowl participant. Listen, they annihilated a terrible Panthers team this week. However, you got to play who you play, and they handled business, and boy did they. I'm still struggling to rank this team higher going forward because, once again, can that O-line keep Burrow upright until Jamar Chase gets there? If they can, then look out because they're going to shoot up. Number 12, the Tennessee Titans. They gave the Chiefs everything they could handle this week. Mike Vrabel, as always, has their team ready to play, and they are always game. No matter who's coming to town, the Titans are going to give you a game. Number 11, the New York Jets. They keep winning, and I gotta respect it. Also, Sauce Gardner might be the best corner in football. We've now entered the top 10 in the start. Let's go with the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill could be in the MVP discussion. And Tua Tagovailoa is playing his tail off. After getting clowned all offseason for his arm strafe and a bunch of stuff, Tua has been dealing. I know a lot of people want to say he's a crappy QB and he's getting bailed out by his receivers. However, I would like to say there's been tons of terrible quarterbacks that have great receivers and are straight trash. Tua can play, man. We got to give him his respect. Number 9, the 49ers. Okay, so I know they're just 4-4, but this ranking goes to show just how much I respect Christian McCaffrey and how much I think he can just shoot that offense up. I can't rank him in the top 5 or anything like that just because Jimmy Garoppolo to me is an okay quarterback. I think he's going to get you into the playoffs. I just don't think you can win a Super Bowl with him, but I'd love to be proved wrong. Number 8, the New York Football Giants. Another one of these, they're not really a Super Bowl team, but I got to give them respect, is the Giants. Brian Daboll is the coach of the year at this point. We'll see if they can keep winning, but you got to love what football's doing right now in New York. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. They look good right now, but I just don't trust them down the stretch, and I think the 6 teams ahead of them are better. Number 6, the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith has been reborn in Seattle, and say what you want, that dude should be in the MVP discussion. They also killed the 2022 NFL Draft. They've got like 5 guys right now that are stars. Kenneth Walker to me looks like the next great young running back. They nailed it, man. They've absolutely nailed it. This team is on the rise, and I think they're going to be on the rise for years to come. Number 5, the Minnesota Vikings. Have you ever seen a 7-1 football team that no one is talking about? This weekend, Kirk Cousins stood in there and got his ass beat by the Commanders defense, but they pulled through. Late Taylor Heineke interception and all. Gotta give them their credit. I can't put a 7-1 team back farther than this, even though other people may think they're a fraud. Whatever is going on, the Vikings are winning, and they're getting my respect for now. Number 4, the Buffalo Bills. Yep, even after a tough loss to the Jets this weekend, the Bills are still one of the best teams in football. I just think they had a bad outing out against a Jets team that a lot of people don't realize how good that defense is. They'll be fine. This team should still be, looked at as a Super Bowl contender. They've got no issues. Just for now, they're back at 4. Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens. After looking at Monday Night Football last night, the Ravens have found their identity. Oh, and by the way, they need to pay Lamar. He's playing as good as any QB in the league right now. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, they were in a dogfight this weekend with the Tennessee Titans going into overtime, but you know what? They pulled it out. Mahomes is still Mahomes, and Chiefs can play with anybody in the NFL. They look like one of the best teams in the AFC to me after the Bills, and the Bills lost this last weekend. I still have them just a touch above the Ravens because I want to see the Ravens be consistent for a couple more weeks before I want to make that jump. But right now, I think the Chiefs are firmly entrenched in that number 2 spot. And number 1, there's literally no other way I could go with this. I have to put the only undefeated team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people are going to complain about the Eagles' schedule, but you play who you got to play and you beat them, and that's what the Eagles do. They play people on their team, they don't play down to the competition, and they win convincingly. With that in mind, I can't really fault them for how they were scheduled. That's not up to them. The team is still loaded as well, so it's not as if they're like an average team, and let's just say like the NFC South that, has a couple good guys, but because you're in a crappy division, you're just, barely squeaking into the playoffs. This team is dangerous. Jalen Hurts is playing as good as anybody out there right now. I know he doesn't have the supreme gaudy passing numbers of like a Mahomes and can't put it anywhere like a Josh Allen, but they're loaded. He has tons of support around him. They can play with anybody in this league, and right now they look like the team to beat. Alright guys, that has been my first ever Power Rankings. I'm Blitz Pizza. I appreciate you guys coming. I'll catch you next week for another ranking. See ya!